Make sure you take oil for your sleds, belts, and spark plugs. And by all means, we all know that we need the most famous tool that saved our lives is the bungee. All the trials and tribulations that we've gone through in this trip, and every group has gone through them, it tested our mettle. And this group stepped up to the plate. But when we needed help, we helped each other. And we got through whatever the problems were by working together as a team. When you get on those sleds, which will be pointed in that direction towards the river, starting in front of the hotel in rows of 4, you can feel proud that you've accomplished something that no other group ever has. So you'll be riding into the history books of organized snowmobiling this morning, people. I get on my sled, which will be in the lead this morning, and you see me turn around. The words you're going to hear me shout are, "Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. We're going to Tok, Alaska."
The MichCanSka snowmobile adventure from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to Tok, Alaska was dreamed of by its founder, Bill Bradfield. An avid snowmobile adventurer and victim of diabetes wanting to do something that will make a difference and create awareness to help fund research to cure diabetes. Once the idea of a snowmobile adventure to Alaska was announced, over 70 individuals started sharing the same dream and decided to do it. Many more enjoyed the thought of riding to Alaska, but a ride like this is not the type of trip that everyone can do. With 2 years of overcoming countless planning and logistical obstacles, the departure date is set. Now another set of unknown trail obstacles shall challenge every rider as they set out for over 20 days and 4,000 miles on the trail. The MichCanSka Club divides into 3 groups of snowmobilers. Many strangers to each other, leaving every 2 days from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, the adventure begins. Ride with SnowTrails TV as we document this journey, spending a week with each group as they travel by snowmobile through North America. On March 8th, all groups unite for the final snowmobile adventure over top of the World Highway, ending the epic journey to Tok, Alaska to help find a cure for diabetes.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines! We took off on the ride at 7:45 this morning. We drove to the Sioux 500 racetrack. The people from the board of directors were there. They opened the track up for us, and that was a thrill for all of the participants in MichCanSka. After we drove one lap around the Sioux 500, we then started the trip and drove over to the tunnel under I-75 where the trail begins. And on the embankment wall of that tunnel, you now will see a sign that says MichCanSka, Highway to Alaska, Tok, 4,000 miles. We were greeted by the mayor and all kinds of city officials who have been really excited about MichCanSka from day one. They were there and presented us with a proclamation.
Proclamation from the City of Sault Ste. Marie, MichCanSka, Snowmobile Trip for Diabetes Research. Whereas on Monday, February 15th, Wednesday, February 17th, and Friday, February 19th, 2010, 72 avid snowmobilers, maybe a few more than that, but in 3 separate groups will initiate a dream trip of a lifetime from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to Tok, Alaska. And whereas this journey will challenge the endurance of these participants and their machines as they initiate this trip through Michigan's Upper Peninsula, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and North Dakota, crossing into Canada through the provinces of Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and British Columbia, then into Canada's Yukon territory, and finally back to the United States and the state of Alaska. And whereas this trip will organized by Vietnam veteran Bill Bradfield to both draw attention to fight for a cure for diabetes, which affects 23.6 million Americans with a direct and indirect cost to the United States of $174 billion per year.
And it was just a great thing to see that the whole city of Sault Ste. Marie was behind us. And then when we started our engines and
drove past all those officials. They held out their hands and we gave them high fives as we drove through the tunnel. And once I got under that tunnel, after 3.5 years of planning, day after day in, day out, weekends, I told everybody, I said, you're going to hear me scream above the roar of your engines, because I'm going to be so happy that the planning part is now done and we're actually on the trail.
We've got diabetic goodies and we've got regular goodies and we've got water for the sleds too. It's from some of the businesses here in Paradise.
That was good. A little tough, but good. The trails are a little bit rough, but we made it. Long day.
The trails weren't that great, but that's Michigan. When you get a lot of snow, you know, in their sleds, they beat them all up. So I think we're on our way and looking forward to a good night's sleep tonight.
With the harsh conditions of the second morning, the problems that such a large group could face are compounded tenfold. Despite the weather, the MichCanskans push forward towards Tok, Alaska.
I love being with a lot of people, friends, meeting new friends, and I have met a lot of friends. Going to Alaska would be perhaps one of my greatest adventures. I've had plenty of adventure, but this one here, I believe after our 20 days is going to top any other adventure that I ever had.
This has been a tremendous thing. I think it'll qualify for a record of some sort, because it really has taken and motivated the people to pay attention to who we are and what we're doing.
It's a challenge for me because of some medical problems that I have myself. So it's a test of myself and it's a test of the whole system, really.
Well, that's something that I've wanted to do since the early 70s, but could never really put it together.
This makes it special for me. First of all, it's a charity run. It's something that we're doing good for other people. That's why it's special to me.
A little behind schedule, but they don't have a way to get out of this place. We didn't know that until we do now. A little bit ago, we have a way. So we're headed now for Superior, Wisconsin, and then we're going to drop down to Moose Lake and then up toward McGregor and Palisade and then up to Grand Rapids, Minnesota.
Well, it's Bobby out here. Beautiful. We should have a good ride. I love it.
Last year our phone rang and Bill had called and wanted to know if we would be willing to work with him on this project that he thought of. He said it's something that's never been done before. Now, we're always looking for unique ways of raising funds. There are a lot of charities and organizations out there that have things that represent them that no one's ever done before. Everybody wears the bracelets, and they started someplace. Everybody wears their ribbons. They started someplace. I had always hoped and thought that somewhere we would come along with something that nobody had ever thought of before. MichCanSka was a word, it never existed.
Everything's perfect right now.
Everything's good. The trail is beautiful.
This is our group leader today,
Everybody's staying with us.
George Patel, and he's doing a great job.
Well, we're trying.
The estimated 4,000-mile journey through ice, snow, and unforeseen conditions will test every part of the MichCanSka riders. This adventure is not for the faint of heart or the inexperienced adventurer.
what it meant as far as people working together, that a lot of these people don't know anybody else. I tried to talk my friends into it, nobody else wanted to come. We don't know where the trail goes. We're not lost, but we just don't know where the trail goes. There's a difference.
Pete's down here with it. His machine won't start.
Might be a little issue down there right now. What happened is Pete went down there and was having a little difficulty getting it started.
She's dead. Well, things are going very, very well. We had a terrific morning. The trails were beautiful. It was mostly railroad tracks all the way. And we averaged probably 45. We could have averaged 55, 60 easy.
Here's 2 of the 7 girls on this trip.
This little solenoid here.
You want a piece
See that wire?
Put on that wire?
Yeah, I do. Slide this tape in there.
Man, oh man.
There we go.
Little things went right this morning. We could be here.
One of the many challenges faced by group leaders is when and where to fuel. Although a lot of the trails are marked for fuel, food, and modern conveniences, keeping track can sometimes be a daunting task.
Yeah, we're going right down in here to get gas, so.
It's an issue.
Line them up! Get gas!
I tell you, I've been very enthused about snowmobiling for a good many years. And I enjoy being out in the woods. And I said, you know, I would go on that. Well, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had in snowmobiling. I've done a lot of it. And I think that if I just relate from the beginning to the end of the things that have transpired, they're going to be very interested.
This is the Sioux Line Trail. Yeah, so we got to be going the other way.
Got to be going the other way, right?
Put Mark's back there for us.
Yeah, there comes Big Don coming up.
Don.
We have tremendous bonds already formed. People are helping other people, people are congratulating. If someone has a little problem, people run to help them. They are sharing helmets.
We gotta go past the 78 loops, and the ones that said that lake back there, that's quite a ways back. We gotta go clear back past that.
This is probably close to 18, 20 miles.
Right there.
Little minor mishap.
This is not unusual for a trip. This is just common day, everything that we do.
My husband and I jumped on board a year ago. He was reading the paper. He had to go play pool. He left, and he's like, I want to do this. Left the paper on the counter. I came home from work. I looked at the paper, and I said, oh, this is something we got to do. I got on my cell phone. I said, honey, we're going to Alaska. He said, you want to go too? To have the chance to try and help some people with diabetes, that's priceless.
And we've got our great guides from the great state of Minnesota. And they made a guarantee this morning. They guaranteed we wouldn't get lost at all today. You think that's going to happen?
One other comment, Mark Doobie should be in the road crosser. Everybody knows that?
No.
After he does that, he's going to come in behind us, so pay attention on your left side. Let him pass.
There's going to be 2 of them. You all been riding today. I got to drive the car, so my heart's with you. I got Dave Boostra pulling up the point. We got the point all covered with Pete.
Tom.
Okay.
Oh, he's earning more stickers the more he stays with us.
Don't give him stickers yet.
Why?
Once he gets 400 miles in, then he can get a sticker.
When you become president, you can give out the stickers however you want to.
He might want a plaque.
5.5 miles to gas.
The Raymer. All right, I passed the word already.
Okay.
We're ready to roll.
And roll on they did. On to another town for a quick sticker celebration.
Okay, everybody listen up. We all got GPSs, compasses, and maps, but you just can't beat having good guides.
going to go through Leonard and Clearbrook and Gunvick.
Okay.
That's the route right there. We just made a detour.
So with the day 4 guides in the rearview mirrors, the group sets off on their own to Halleck, Minnesota, where sometimes help is already on the trail.
Got one of the locals here that...
I live here. Well, meet us in Leonard, you can go with us.
We do a lot of different events. The passion of the people who run these events accomplishes 2 things. It raises money in an economy where we're getting cut everywhere. The federal grants that come to our scientists cut, statewide cut, from organizations cut. So it's up to individuals who have a passion to raise funds that allow us to continue the work.
I'm glad that weather that Don was telling us about hasn't hit us. It's cooled off, but it's not foggy.
With the average snowmobile getting anywhere from 100 to 140 miles to a tank of gas, getting in and out of a town can pose one of the biggest challenges for the MichCanskans. With this many snowmobiles, getting fuel also takes its toll on the day's schedule.
Well, I think I'm going to go back with Betty because I got a bunch of stuff on email and computer stuff I want to get done tonight, so I don't have to stay up till midnight, 1 o'clock to get it done.
When one thinks of the impact for this, it's beyond my position as the vice president. I'm a dad. I have a daughter who is diagnosed at 2. I have a son who's diagnosed at 13. It's pretty amazing to think that people would do this without understanding where they were going or what they were doing.
I think we're going to head west over to Valcourt. They say it could be a 200-mile ride or a 400-mile ride.
I think if everything goes well, we're going to have our shortest day. If yesterday I had a drive, which was tough.
We're all set, ready to go. News media are going to be here for about a 15-minute little deal, and by 7:30 we hope to be on the trail.
Actually, I'm feeling pretty good. Last night was pretty grueling, but I'm in it for the long haul.
Man, it feels like day 1. Adrenaline must have still be kicking in.
I'm gonna make it. Took 2 Tylenols this morning to get me through the day, but I'm doing good.
Day 5, I'm feeling a little rough around the edge, but that's just a little rough around the edge, and hoping today that we're going to have a good day. It seems beautiful out here.
We learned some things yesterday that can make it a whole lot easier going forward.
I think it's going to be a great day, and that's it.
With Group 1 now hitting full stride, a meeting of the minds to see how to get out of town.
About 10 miles north, so we'll just rendezvous with them there, George.
Like, just to get an idea which way we're going. Just
west. I have no go. West. Okay. We're going west, then north.
I know, but I thought on the map. Just you know, sometimes it's not that easy. Don't worry. I'm not worried about it.
Well, we got a face mask that's not heating up, and we want to make sure he's safe. It's this frost fog in the nearest big town, and they're going to go and get their mask, and then there's the possibility that the man in town told us the wrong trail. We're the Department of Natural Resources and the Tourism Bureau from North Dakota. Anyway, we just want to be safe, and that's what it's all about. I'm the one
okay.
You called me back. I talked, and the girl said, "Wait a minute, I got to get somebody who wants to listen." These people jumped on it. What are you packing?
Glock 40s. That's what our department
40s?
has. Yeah.
Good.
So.
Listen, I want to say I appreciate very much what you did here, coming out here like this. And
we love
stuff.
it, man.
And we're going to have a video film. We're going to take it back and show it to the Michigan DNR and say, could we have this kind of service in Michigan from now on?
Well, I mean, this is such a great cause.
The day isn't over yet, though.
And a guy in a red pickup truck pulled up.
And he said, hey, he says, what's going on? And I explained to him what we were doing and that we were raising money for diabetes research. And this gentleman probably was, I'd say, maybe 35, 40 years old. He had his work clothes on. You could tell he was some type of a laborer, maybe a mason or a pipe worker or something. And he said, I'd like to make a donation. And he reached in his wallet and he fumbled around through it and he pulled out and handed me a $100 bill to give to Diabetes Research Institute. I said, sir, I thank you very much. I'd like you, could I give you your name and your address and things so you can get credit for this and let people know that you donated? He said, nope. He said, it's not important to me. He said, I just want to remain anonymous. He said, you just take that and put it towards diabetes research. It really touched me, you know, that people felt that deeply, that they would dig that deep into their wallet and give $100 to a perfect stranger to donate to diabetes research. It really amazed me.
With day 5 being the shortest day on the trail so far, and the Sundance Hotel in Belcourt, North Dakota having a casino, day 6's morning came awfully early.
We're going to head over to about 3 miles from the border, unload them, and at that point we'll try to get across our customs and get headed up toward Russell, Manitoba. Right now everybody's loaded.
I'm telling the officer here, our DNR officer, that they're doing a great job for us. I don't think I would expect it from many other communities anyhow. North Dakota helped us out a lot.
Morning. Hey, morning. I thought you had a meeting.
Oh, Canada, oh, say, can you see? That's it. Cut.
I'm ready to get back on the sled and go across the border and head north.
Patriotism to 2 countries, not just one, because we love snowmobiling in America and we love to snowmobile in Canada.
A quick count to make sure no one is left behind, a 3-mile ride, and the MichCanskans are crossing the border at Dunseth, North Dakota, and entering into Manitoba at Peace Gardens. Moving quickly through customs and eager to snowmobile north of the border, Bill Bradfield calls a meeting to meet our Canadian guides and plot the course to Russell, Manitoba.
We're going to have a quick meeting right here. Daryl Vodden is going to lead us today to the Russell Inn. And I want everybody to know Daryl and Tom, right?
No, Blair.
Blair. Daryl and Blair.
Okay, you're really illegally, you can't be on the shoulder. We got to be in the ditch. There's some places that we have no choice, we'll go on the shoulder, okay, but wherever we can, we'll stay in the ditch. The first 6 miles is ditch, okay, we call it ditch banging.
When we're done with lunch, if we're gassed up, we're not going to have some people go get gas and everybody else wait. We'll all get gas at the same time, okay? And the first stop is 60 miles?
Yes.
That's where we're going to get gas. Okay, you guys ready to ride Canada?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Let's go. Oh, by the way, welcome to Canada.
Yeah.
First of all, safety is a primary concern, particularly when you get all these folks together, this many people. Safety is a primary concern. Pete, he was the safety director. We had a couple 4-hour meetings just talking about safety.
The way I've approached this, when it came up that we're going to do the trip, I didn't step up, well, I'll do safety, but I started asking the questions. Well, who's addressing the safety issues and survival issues for this trip? And as I talked to my dad and talked to Bill, I realized that wasn't something that they currently had anybody focused on. They thought, well, we'll get to it eventually. And I raised my hands as I'll do it.
Hey, so far so good. The snow is great here up here, and you know, we do a little bit of ditch banging and stuff, but the snow is nice and deep.
60 miles to lunch. We're going to go a little scenic route. Watch us. Just watch us. We're still learning. When that person behind you is not there, slow down. Okay? Just slow down a little bit. Good.
Keeping count as always, Don Lipinski makes his count and takes his position at the end of the line. Riding in a half-mile snowmobile train can sometimes turn a person, well, a little goofy.
My mom would be so proud of me. Actually, it's not that doggone cold out here. The only time it got chilly was when I went down in the deep snow here. It all came up over the windshield.
Then we almost collide our sleds and roll them over. After all the excitement, there's still a long way to go. Not to mention, it'll be dark soon. Ditch banging, commonly known as snowmobiling alongside highways and main roads, with driveways, roads, fences, and other obstacles. Ditch banging provides its own set of challenges.
All right, ditch bagging, but the ditch got kind of deep. Be careful when you're ditch bagging. Watch out for weeds, they're like a wall. Thought I was making pretty good time. I guess I'm slowing things up now.
We need a trail.
I'm ready to tell anybody that's got a thing here to load them up.
You got 1 kilometer, and when we're in the town of Bertle, then we should be back on the trails.
In 1 mile?
1 kilometer.
Yeah, they're doing some ditch banging, heading into Russell, Manitoba, and had 3 sleds get into some cattails and got hung up in the cattails in some deep snow.
Nothing to it. Here, I'll get you up.
They talk about, you know, how many miles it's going to, when they start out during the day, in the morning, how many miles it's going to take them to get to the next stop. And it's been 6 days, and 6 days they've been wrong about the mileage. It's the first time I got to kind of really follow along the road with them, and I can see why it's taken them a while.
No one's hurt, George. Did you hurt anything?
Good ride.
I don't care.
I'm in my pocketbook. Video Mike can help buy the beer tonight. I won't have to buy it all.
They should all loaded the machines up, and they should all stopped and came to dinner and relaxed. Yes, we all want to make every mile, but I don't think we'll be able to make every mile.
We've had, you know, it's been, you know, 6 days of long days, long nights, you know, not many sleep. Everybody's getting tired, and, you know, it's, you know, everybody's on edge, fatigue setting in a little bit and that kind of stuff. And, you know, we need a day off basically to regroup and everybody kind of get back to their senses and, you know, and have fun again.
Very good. Everything okay, Pete?
Yep.
Everything followed, the trail was all right? Everything was good?
No. Yeah, the problem is the trail guy got lost.
Oh.
And he wasn't even on the map. And so we were trying to figure that out, and so that caused even more confusion. Then he got lost a couple more times after that, and finally the GPS and let us in.
Oh, we had fun today, yeah, but I wanted to see how bad the ditch bagging was, and
the trail was beautiful.
Well, I can live with it. I like that better than I did yesterday. When we were going through Dakota, how that, like riding on.
It's too early in the trip to take a chance. If we smash our machines, we're done. I'm done. If I hurt myself,
they make them every day.
I'm done.
They don't make you every day, but they make me.
Exactly, but that's what I was worried about, you know, myself.
Now you tell me.
You young people have got to stop this stuff.
Yeah, I guess so.
What are you
All
guys doing?
I can say is I know you're trying to kill an old man. I know that.
We're not doing that.
But you know what? I'm here.
How many times was he in the pucker brush? 2 times.
Somebody's going to get hurt. It's going to happen again and again, and it evidently did. One machine right on top of the guy, like, that's not very good. And that was our leader. And our leader should have then said, load him. Load him.
Yep, as he said, this is day 7. We're in Russell, Manitoba. We're headed for Priestville this afternoon. This is supposed to be our shortest day. Unfortunately, every day has been that we thought was short has been really long.
Everybody's a little bit tired, but we knew that would happen. We knew that this was going to be some kind of grueling trip, but we're all becoming one big happy family.
It's been grueling. I said that yesterday. But overall, I'm not quitting until I can't physically ride anymore. I'm not quitting.
Well, we've had some ups and downs, you know. It takes us a while. You know, you got a big group, so it took us about a week to get things situated where everybody's sort of happy, but I think everything's coming together pretty good.
We're growing as a team. and we're mending together. It's been great riding. We got mixed up yesterday a little bit, but we learned that ditch banging, we're going to hurt somebody, and we're not into that.
Yeah, the good thing is we're here and we're all together as a group with no major issues other than the normal things that happen in snowmobiling.
Remember last night when I said I had a motel room elsewhere?
Yeah.
The motel room happened to be on top of a bar. Room number 7 was directly on the bar. I took the covers off the bed. I felt the bed vibrating. I called the office. The lady tells me that she would move me to room 2. Room 2 now overlooks the parking lot. It was so hot in the room I had to open the window. While I'm in the room at 2:30, the party moved from inside the bar to in the parking lot. At 3 o'clock I got up. I had no way to get here. They have no taxis. I walked back to the motel. At 3 o'clock I was walking from another motel to here, you know, all by myself. What a night. That was not good.
This fresh air will keep you awake.
Yeah, that was terrible.
I didn't ride yesterday, so I understand they had a tough day. And I'm probably glad I was driving the truck yesterday, but today they say it's going to be good, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, enjoy the ride, Group 1. We'll see you again in Dawson City, Yukon. Finally, meeting up with Group 2, we get our coldest day at minus 25 below zero Fahrenheit. This crystal clear morning and the frigid temperatures promise to be an interesting twist in our what seems to be like a totally new adventure with Group 2. The day's trip from Russell, Manitoba to Priestville, Saskatchewan promises to be an eventful day.
Now Roy's got the problem. Is he fogging? I'm fogging bad, and when the last stop, he just got there and had to clean up, and you left. He didn't have any time to do anything. So it's like this time,
I need to know who's riding last so I can look for them.
Roy.
Because I lose track. Roy's riding last.
Yeah.
All right, I'll watch for
He normally don't have any of these problems.
Yeah.
Well, he's having them today.
A short ride out of Russell, and we say goodbye to our guide.
Well, that's what she made her to hear, so, and we didn't horse her out this morning.
Well, it's pretty much like being in business. I have a small business of my own, and you deal with personalities of the people that you work with, and you deal with personalities of the people that you work for.
You got another helmet in the truck.
Might be a good one to put on. There's been a wheel. There's 80 kilometers north. It's got to be right there. I don't understand the trail system here. We've seen every direction on the compass. I see the sun in my mirror. I see snow dust this way and snow dust this way. And I think we're just going in bigger circles until we get wherever we're going. The big thing for me is I got to eat. Yeah, I can feel myself losing weight right now. So,
I got to eat too.
All right.
I didn't eat anything extra.
You know, not only am I passionate about the sport of snowmobiling, but this the cause for diabetes actually touches me personally because my mother actually has diabetes. So, you know, in order to do something to be able to support such a wonderful cause that so many people can benefit from.
But I don't know, somehow I got to get, if we're here, I gotta go north almost from where we're at on that.
We got to go over to here first.
A short lunch and back on the trail sledding towards Priestville, Saskatchewan. Blue skies and moderate temperatures make for a great snowmobile day, if it weren't for all those moguls along the ditches.
I come over that mogul and I let down on that left side, that right side back here. Under the stress. Wish you hit hard.
I can't believe nobody stopped.
Well, busted. This was about this high.
Oh, it was.
Oh yeah. There, that way over there. Well, give it a whirl.
Well, there's a Skidoo dealer, the biggest one around they set up ahead. So
is there?
Yeah. It's 10 miles from Priestville.
These are a little sore.
And Jerry and boy.
The damage was just too much to go on.
Just help me hold it.
It just come down hard on the front end, and I think it broke the front of the suspension.
Kind of broke the windshield and the hood a little bit. Nothing serious, nothing we can't fix and keep going.
Are you okay? That's all I care about, if you're okay.
And the reason I didn't come back looking for you is because I knew he was coming.
I didn't see him though.
It was 3 or 4 miles. I wasn't in the lead.
If Rob wouldn't have been there,
Let's just
I wouldn't have seen him.
To be able to be on a trip that is of this quality and of this distance is kind of a dream come true that I've always had. I need a different windshield.
Yeah. Windshields. These rivets came out?
Yeah. It's good people when they know what we're doing and they'll get in there and go after it. It's just, there's good people in the world, you know?
We just had breakfast and we talked to one of the guides, and his brother last night was up past midnight grooming the trails north of here, which we will be traveling.
Well, the ride so far has been very good for me because my shield's been staying clear, my sled's been running fantastic, and it's just been a real enjoyable ride.
A little bit sore, you know. Did a pretty good bounce and kind of did a couple little bangs on the sled.
It's 4 below. It's a lot warmer than it was yesterday. Looks like a nice clear day. We're ready to roll. Rock and roll, man. We want to ride.
I think with the group of riders that we have, we like going fast. We lost a couple sleds yesterday due to mechanical problems. One was bogey wheels, the other one was guy took a tough hit, but they should be repaired today and back on the trail with us.
Let's start with the thumb one.
08600 IQ touring thumb one.
Sometimes when a customer comes in and they're in a pinch, we don't mind taking parts off sleds and selling them.
Former racer and I-500 champion Mel Kitchum has some undiagnosed mechanical issues that could end his day.
I run like 125. 4 times in practice.
Frank would have had it done by now. We've got a machine down. One of our Polaris is down on team number 2. So we're heading over there to meet up with him in Carrot River. We've been taking back roads, gravel roads to get here. But we'll be meeting up with him shortly. They're towing the machine into Carrot River.
I ain't real happy, but it's all right. Something's gonna break down. I just was hoping it wasn't mine. Towed it the road and I cooled it down. I put things back together and make it a loop on the field, and it seemed to have response. It didn't act like the best cylinder, but I ain't saying it ain't. I ain't saying it ain't.
You got
125.
I guess you're the second of 3 groups coming through. We had 1 sled from the first group. We got him in right away, and Dean got him up and going in pretty good time as well. So it's pretty good that you can help out a little bit in a run like this.
Only, what, 70?
79.30.
79.30, now that's a bargain. That's the first bargain we've gotten.
With the snowmobile fixed and a half-mile from the hotel, it's time to retire for the evening.
Hell no, I'm heading back out to the trail. I'm gonna ride every mile of this trip.
About half an hour they had you in and out of the shop.
Yep, it's awesome. Almost every one of the dealers has done that, except one, you said, right?
Here we are at the exact spot that we picked Mel up earlier this afternoon, just 8 miles south of Carrot River.
Hey boys, you thought I was out, and I'm on my way. See you in Nipawin.
After a good night's rest and a great meal the night before in Nipawin, Saskatchewan, our brave and speedy travelers take in a little breakfast before battling their archenemy, getting out of town.
Well, do you want to go back?
I think the easiest way is to go to that motel and go back and hit that main trail.
All right. How's Dan doing?
Okay.
As well as beautiful landscape, the Saskatchewan terrain gives us much more than just trees and hills to set our eyes upon. Finally, back on the trail, Dan Wheeler is glad to be back on his sled, headed toward Tok, Alaska.
It's running really well. They did a very nice job on it. Can't believe they did all that to it in such a short time. It handles a little different, but you know, things have changed on it. How we doing, Steve?
Good.
Looks like the H cuts up to the K. I don't know where we're meeting those guys to eat. That cuts there.
See, what screws me up is it says 205A is that way, and we went 205A that way.
You gotta go north and west to get back how they did it.
Does anyone have a compass? I lost my compass this morning. Thank God I got my wallet. All right, so we're right here then. We got to go over to here. I see 120 heading south.
Hang a right until we get farther down the pike.
It goes west.
Well, if this is 120, we could follow it down, then we'll take 790.
That sign says going right is Meath Park, and 120 runs right down to Meath Park.
791 is not the road we're on.
We're on 120 right now. We're going to go up here to 791 and turn right. Take it across.
You're going to
see, we're on 120. We're going to go down here before.
Turn left. You're going to turn left. You got the map upside down.
Finally, on their way with night closing in, the MichCanskans hightail it to Big River, Saskatchewan.
I think what's going to make this so special is the point in my life that I'm able to do this. I had talked about doing some kind of trip across country, but I figured it'd be later in life, maybe once I was retired and had the time. I am very fortunate to be able to do this, you know, at 41 years old, to be able to get off work, to be the actual first group to do this is great. I know we actually tried to one-up everybody else because we actually rode from Alba, Michigan over by Mansalona up to Sault Ste. Marie. So we have 155 miles on everybody else. So our adventures can be a little bit longer than everybody else's. But you know, to be able to do this, to be able to do it for such a great cause, I'm just very excited, very proud, very honored that you know, I could be a part of this, the original, the inaugural group. You know, I mean, this is the first of many to come.
After a great night with our host, we find ourselves waking to an equally beautiful morning. The sunsets and sunrises this far north are quite a sight to see. The colors are truly splendid. A quick photo op with our hosts, and we are on our way to Cold Lake, Alberta.
Today, from what we understand, we've got some marginal snow conditions, and as we get close to Meadow Lake, and we're going to abandon the trail once we get through Meadow Lake and ride alongside Highway 55. But we're heading on through, and eat lunch in Meadow Lake. It'll be a good day after that. Everything will be good. I think everyone has had the same goal. Everyone wants to get to Alaska, and we've got a group of really experienced riders. Everyone rides really well.
A little bit of history about this area here. This is This happened in Minnesota when my electric shield fogged up and I wasn't holding up the train. So I just lifted the shield and kept on riding. It's going to start itching.
And did everybody get a pin? Thanks, guys.
Thank you. You're a wonderful host.
Thank you
very much.
Pleased to have you guys here.
Hopefully we get some more snow. Conditions are not good. It's a little rough out there. But we'll stay on the lakes and try to make as much ground as we can.
12 more miles. We're going to have 2,000 miles on our trip to Tok, Alaska. That's the halfway point. Does not get any better than this.
Even with all the maintenance and special care given to the sleds, we just can't prevent all the little things that go wrong. Even though Dave Little will be off his sled for the rest of the afternoon, we get to see just what a MichCanskan will do to get back on the trail.
Busted an idler wheel. That's the one wheel I don't have a spare.
Bad day on the trail. We're going to run on the south side of 55, heading to Cold Lake.
Sometimes the best and fastest way to our destination is over the lakes and rivers. But this lake still has its own tricks to throw at us.
Get to Pierce Lake, right there, it's shaped like
I don't know what Pierce, can you see Pierce Lake on that? Is there a road that runs up?
Open water yet. No, we're on a park road.
We gotta go up here and turn right, man. We gotta find a road right.
Have to, unfortunately the parts guy didn't have this wheel in stock, so I asked him if I take it off the sled, if I can do it myself, and he said fine. So I'm gonna cannibalize one of their new sleds so I can get back on the trail. I think I need a set screw, an Allen wrench. Well, I don't know how crazy they were about me grabbing it off, but I told them I got to get to Alaska, and told them I'll pay for it. And you know what? This sled's probably been sitting here for a couple of years anyhow, so they're not going to be missing the parts. They can order it. The mechanic, when he comes back from British Columbia, can toss them on. We'll be in good shape.
While the road crew heads west into Alberta, the trail riders weave their way along a river with a few tricky spots, to say the least. It's always a dangerous proposition when traveling on and around rivers, but when there is open water, safety must be the first concern.
There he comes.
No. That's a highway there. We should be able to hit that road right there.
By that cabin. The cabin's got to have a road.
You got to have a road that goes out to the road.
Yeah.
4-foot chunks of ice, so it's time for plan B. We got to go around this point.
We're
3
right on
miles
course.
to the motel. We didn't. It was
it's better than trailering. We stayed in snow.
That's right. It was a good day of snowmobiling. We just didn't use any of the trails.
We're on course. I'm gonna go forward.
As the journey progresses, it becomes apparent that it is harder and harder to get in and out of towns. Not to mention the serious lack of snow on the roads and the damage that inflicts on vehicles designed for snow travel. When we finally made it to the Dockside Inn, many were content to crash for the evening.
Right now we're trying to find a way out of town. It looks like there's a couple miles of dirt and gravel and stuff, and we're trying to find some snow.
We're heading east. We're on the north side of town.
I mean, I wasn't driving, so I wasn't keeping track, but it's more or less off in that direction.
Being the leader of an adventure cross-country snowmobile team can become full of having to make unexpected decisions, like which way do I go, and what do I do with a trail sign like this? The first part of the day was spent trying to run along the rail grades, and sometimes it gets a little boring running down the old flat rail grade that doesn't have much snow on it. for some reason we may never understand, our leader Todd decides to take the adventurous way across the Athabasca River. Well, now snowmobiling was not boring anymore for the first several of the group. As soon as Todd's sled touched the ice, there was a slushy, cracking, and collapsing sound. This could be a very ill-fated attempt to cross the semi-frozen river. This river is what would slow us down to a dead uphill crawl for a couple of hours.
Take the brake off from me and hold it so it doesn't roll in the river.
Yep.
Ready?
When it comes to traction control, there is always an argument on whether to stud or not to stud. Todd had the only studded track on the river. Watch some of this video for a pretty compelling story about traction products and what they can do in abnormal situations. We all quickly learned what can and cannot be done with traction control.
What'd you see down there, Jack?
You can't. I mean, you can't go down there.
Worse, huh?
Yeah, it's worse down there.
The snowmobile without studs for traction has to be manhandled and roped back to the trail above. While down here in the thick of the action, towing a sled uphill with ropes, I wonder, why didn't we just take the rail bridge? But it really was a very impressive view from down below.
Let's move these two ahead so we can get him.
He can get over that.
When you go down a big hill, be ready when you get to the bottom.
And don't follow us unless you're adventurous.
So after 2 hours of trying to get turned around and making no forward progress, we got back on the rail grade and crossed the bridge, and hopefully on our way to Athabasca.
Well, at least we're not running down the road like that.
All we can do is keep riding this. If it gets thin, we'll have to take one of them north and run 55.
That's what I think. I think we keep going. We're saying we're not going to go that way. It's just getting worse and worse as we go. As long as it looks like
I think I'd go right to 55.
55?
You're going to have a wider ditch on that main road.
Okay.
You want to get picked up then? Yeah. They're going to have to come back. They're up that way.
That's right.
Snow is sparse. Nobody knows where they're going.
They're very, very rough. We got an alley here. Look at this.
Looking at the river instead of looking at the guy in front of me.
Yeah, 3 or 4 days of that, and I think we could eliminate
Little close encounter on the bridge.
It's been kind of rough. It's been kind of like an endurance run for the last 45 miles.
2,700 miles. Too much road riding.
Sometimes, with all the help in the world, a barbed wire fence can still sneak up on you and require a little help from your friends.
Too many road crossings and wear bars are worn out. Before we lose the skis and all, it's time to come back and get the trailer, load them up, and work on them. We'll be back in business in the morning.
All right, we're 20 miles this side of where we ate.
Finally, arriving in Athabasca, Group 2 fills its tanks with gas before heading to the hotel. With this being Group 2's longest day on the trail so far, the maintenance that needs to be done this night promises to make a very long evening.
I feel bad for you. I see the tears in your eyes.
have a scratch? Let's wish for snow.
Maybe Todd and I can find enough later on today.
We're headed for High Prairie. We're gonna have about 70 miles of river running. And then we don't know if we're going on Slave Lake for 80 miles or if we've got a ditch bang down the road yet until we get there.
A little bit warm, but I think we'll make her. Try not to have too much concrete and cement to run over.
This was our last day traveling with Group 2. Every day was presenting unique opportunities and challenges. There had not been a day yet that everything went according to a perfect plan. After all, this is snowmobiling, and a big part of why we do this is for the adventure. There has not been a boring day of sledding during MichCanSka. There were many days where it was more than a little confusing navigating. After all, the trail was not marked by regular standards, and this is adventure snowmobiling. Sometimes the biggest challenge is just getting out of a particular area, and today was no different. We would spend the next couple of hours wandering around on this river.
That bridge we just went under is a bridge on that road that we was on.
Yeah, I don't disagree. There's got to be another bridge, that's all I'm saying. In which general direction are we heading?
We're on the wrong side of the road. Here, I told him just the other side of the bridge.
Well, he probably was just following tracks, you know. Like you said, pulling a shine shop, got his head down, riding.
Well, ain't nobody gone that way.
There's got to be a reason.
That was a stop sign, except somebody broke it off and went through the ice right there.
Yeah, don't go this way.
Yeah, I know.
The week with Group 2 has been extreme and challenging. We continue in a couple days with Group 3 and bigger snow challenges since our last day was 50 degrees and more warm weather ahead. Who would have ever thought that in northern Canada we would run out of snow? But if there was ever a place to load up the sleds and trailer north, this was the perfect place to enjoy the majestic views that the Canadian Rockies are famous for. After 14 days in a row riding the snowmobile, this really was a welcome break and time to enjoy the drive. Beautiful Muncho Lake is home to the Northern Rockies Lodge and everything you could want from a Canadian outfitter. And someday I'll have to come back and enjoy these areas during a different time of the year.
No, right now I got a chain case issue. Hopefully I get some parts at the dealer in the next town.
While there was enough snow that one could have rode a snowmobile, this being the first time to the area, we had no real idea what to expect. This far north, everything is very remote and a long ways from anything else. The distances as the crow flies that had been mapped out were very doable under near normal conditions. But riding a snowmobile along the Alaska Highway is anything but normal, and for these distances was not really safely doable on a snowmobile. We were on a mission to ride over the top of the world highway in the wintertime. One of the best stops along the entire Alaska Highway is the fabulous Laird River Hot Springs, located in the Laird River Hot Springs Provincial Park, north of Muncho Lake. Relaxation seeps into your body as you ease into the second largest hot spring in Canada. There are 2 hot springs at the Laird, with water temperatures ranging from 107 to 126 degrees Fahrenheit.
We've been a lot of time driving, pulling snowmobiles on the trailer.
Well, we soaked today in the hot springs. We've been doing a little sightseeing, took some pictures. We got animals, we got moose, caribou, deer. We've had a good time.
Even in the depths of winter, which lasts 8 months here, the hot springs provide relief to weary Alaskan-bound travelers and adventurers after a long day on the road. It would be crazy to bypass this natural phenomenon without stopping. We had heard about the rare woodland buffalo living and traveling along the Alaska Highway during the winter. And finally, we would see and visit this herd that lived on the Canadian wild side. There are two types of buffalo. One is the plains buffalo or American bison that is famous for its large herds that nearly went extinct during the Wild West days. This is a protected species. With only a couple thousand left, some may never get to see this sight.
Don't see this every day. You got these down in Ohio? I got a neighbor who raises some buffalo.
This looked like a healthy herd with young and old fat buffalo. The biggest threat other than wolves to these animals is living right along the highway. Every season I am told a dozen or so buffalo become traffic accident statistics. Out here, that can become a big problem, hitting one of these massive mammals. Continuing the adventure on the Alaska Highway by way of Watson Lake, which was on the original list for an overnight stay, we found Sally's Cafe, where the real home cooking and reasonable prices reminded us a little of home.
My mind.
Catching this sunset on the way to Teslin seemed almost planned. It was a peaceful reminder of the day that would probably never happen again for any of us. The hot springs, wood bison, beauty of the Yukon, and the mild weather has MichCanSka living up to its motto, a trip of a lifetime. After being paid a visit from man's best friend, it seems like an omen that we're finally about to be on the trail. 5.5 days in the truck without being on a snowmobile, it was time. One of the best parts of the trip has been the wildlife. Just about everywhere you look, you can find some. This lynx really didn't mind sharing the road with us, as long as we were 10 yards or so away. Well, let's get back to snowmobiling. It promises to be an intriguing day.
We've been trailering for quite a while to get up here. We're in the Yukon territory now. We're headed out to Ross River. They say it's about 145 miles. And these sleds, we don't know what the conditions are. These sleds only run about 130 miles, 140 miles to a tank of gas, so I'm not sure. I'm looking forward to it. 140 miles, I can do it standing up. 5.5 days off, feels good.
Oh, this is beautiful country up here. It's gorgeous.
Hopefully lots of snow and maybe a few moose, maybe a buffalo, I don't know.
I think there was a few days that we could have been riding that we trailered, but so be it. We're having a good time. It's a great adventure.
They call us twins,
like
but we're not really twins because he's shorter than I am.
Well, it's a good-looking one. The good-looking one.
Good-looking one's over there.
After 5.5 days in the truck with these guys, it'd be great to be on the trail. I think I'll probably just go right off all by myself. Maybe I'll come back, maybe I won't.
So I'm packing extra gas. I have all my survival gear. The weather's been really very, very mild. Almost enough that I wouldn't think that I need to bring all this stuff with me, but you never know what can happen when you get out into the bush country up here in northern Canada. The anticipation level of all was high, and everyone was ready to have a wonderful ride through part of the Canadian Yukon. Group 1 had traveled this route 4 days ago, and it had some problems with the trail not being recently opened up, and had to call in for a rescue crew from Ross River. They were less than 20 miles from completing the 150-mile trip.
We left Johnson Crossing at 10 in the morning. The first 90 miles was easy. I will say easy. The trail was easy to find.
Group 2 had ridden this 2 days ago and easily completed the trek through the Pelly Pass in less than 7 hours. We expected to arrive around 4 or 5 p.m. well before dark, and for once arriving in time for a good meal and relaxation.
From what we were told, it was supposed to be a great adventure, which it turned out to be.
Nice of it to start snowing, although you can't see all them mountains.
Yeah.
Moved out after a while. A little rough there at first.
Haven't seen no animals, but we've got a lot of snow. It's really nice to get back on the trail.
We'll make it. Make it before dark.
Well, this trail is pretty good. It sure as hell is better than the truck.
A little bit worried right now. We're missing one. He was right there with us at the last stop, which was only, what, a mile ago? But other than that, it's a gorgeous day for a ride. We got a little snow finally, fresh stuff.
But then after that, it started to snow really bad. And it was a sleet type snow. You could hear it hitting your helmet.
As one can imagine, there is not a lot of sled traffic on the trails in the Yukon. We paid little attention to the warning signs that closed this road during the winter for sled traffic only. None of us had ever come close to needing a rescue in our snowmobile careers. The first 50 miles was perfect sledding. As the light snow accumulated, it gave us the look of a fresh trail.
After we'd been stuck many times, probably over a 2-hour period, and everybody was getting tired.
People are getting stuck. A lot.
And my sat phone was on my sled, and my sled was probably 50 feet off the trail on top of a bush where I had gotten stuck. And I trudged back there and I pushed the button on mine. And I got the sat phone out and I dialed it and I got a hold of Jeremy at the command center. And I told him what our situation was, and he got a hold of Pete Patella in Dawson. In turn, they got a hold of the people in Ross River. He called me back on the sat phone saying that the people in Ross River didn't think it was that bad, that we should be able to make it. And I explained to him that they didn't know the situation out there.
The trail issue really comes from the fact there is only a packed path wide enough for the sled. Either side of the 44-inch traveled path is about 3 feet of sugar snow, a very loose, unpackable snow waiting for us like quicksand. The previously packed down tracks had vanished with a new day's snowfall.
It never felt like it was a hopeless situation to me. It just was a lot of work. And we knew after we got into the ride for a little bit, after what had happened, we knew it was going to be a continuation of the same thing.
Dave's starting to drop off the trail again. You gotta hammer it and ride right back up on it.
I know.
Okay.
I know what I gotta do.
All of you. I can't say that I'm not gonna drop off and get in. Whenever you see that my skis went off and got deep, I'm going to have hammered to get back up on top of the trail. That's the only way you can ride these things.
Nobody was really prepared or expected conditions like this. This was turning into one of those reality survival TV shows pretty quickly.
We're 89 miles from where we started this morning. Yes, and we're at the Upper Sheep Creek. We're right there at the crossing. Yeah, right now we went about an hour. We went about a mile in the last hour. Okay, bye. They are on their way. Every time we move, we get stuck.
You get one sled unstuck and the other one stuck. I can't count the times we dug sleds out. Can't keep digging sleds out. Huh?
How long ago did they start?
Sleds out and go 5 feet, dig sled out again.
When before we got my sled out back there.
That's a half an hour?
We've been stuck twice since then.
I must be right on the edge here, huh?
You're right in the hole.
Right there. What I mean is it gonna put us up with a 4-foot, 5-foot wide track?
According to Pete Patella, we got probably another 10 miles of this stuff. And I don't know.
with Wes, who is one of the strongest, now with a back injury from pulling on sleds, and everyone just exhausted to the point of collapse, our drinking water nearly gone, we had to dig in, regroup, and think about the 60 miles to go. A very dismal feeling being in the Canadian Yukon wild as the night crept in on us.
Been in this kind of problem before. I rode deep snow, but not like this. The sled's supposed to go over top of snow. Is that water drinkable? I should be coming from that way. How about if I walk ahead? Dave already did. He walked ahead. Did he?
As dusk fell, a couple of the guys walked up the hill to see if there was a better place to stay until a rescue could get to us.
Yeah, I don't know if them guys are they're up around the corner.
I think we need to get out of the wind, and I think we definitely need to get a good fire going. It's going to be tricky though, I'll tell you that. It's tight.
Sugar snow all the way up.
But we got to go to the top of the hill irregardless. When the guy gets here or on our own, we got to go to the top of the hill.
How long till they say they could come?
It could be hours yet. You have no way of knowing unless they're carrying a satellite phone also.
With the path up the hill now walked, and the uncomfortable cold and darkness taking over, we decide to slowly keep moving forward. Walking a diagonal route to find the edge, traveling 30 yards before doing it again. In 4 hours, we traveled 2 more painfully slow miles. It was midnight before we saw the big rescue sleds and knew that we were not going to spend the night in the snow cave and endure a pure overnight survival experience in the Yukon.
We were very much relieved when the help finally got there, and the satellite phones worked excellent. And Ross River, a couple guys finally came out, and it was like a great relief was lifted off our shoulders, that now at least we had a path to follow back.
We got a bad snowstorm with high winds, and she basically wiped the trail out. So we went 60 miles down the South Cano and got everybody back to Ross River and into a warm bed.
With no time to waste, our weary travelers get back into the truck and on their way to Dawson City, Yukon, where the final run into Tok, Alaska will set off. Even though we're so close to our final destination, it's still impossible to drive through the Canadian Rockies without taking note of their beauty and splendor.
All the buildings are painted different colors. Against the white snow all around it, the bright colors of the building just made them stand out. That was very nice. The city of Dawson itself was great to be in. The hotel we stayed at was very nice. Just had a great time in Dawson City. I'd go back there anytime.
Dawson City is a well-preserved, living and breathing cultural and historic oasis tucked away in the middle of the Yukon wilderness. Once referred to as the Paris of the North, its name is synonymous with the 1898 Klondike Gold Rush. Safe and friendly, the community of 1800 has all the modern amenities a discerning traveler would require, yet offers rustic accommodations for a more authentic experience.
some point in time in the first leg of the trip, we are going to have a tribute to our veterans, and we would like the entire group together for that. It'll be something that'll only take a few minutes, but we feel it's really important to do. So that'll probably be the first stop. And you see me turn around, the words you're going to hear me shout are, "Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. We're going to Tok, Alaska." And you all deserve a round of applause for what you've done.
Okay, Billy, you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Time to go now. The day we've all waited for. The day we planned for 2 years has finally arrived.
Well, on March 8th, at precisely 8 o'clock in the morning, that's when we set a new record that was etched in the history books of snowmobiling forever, and that's when we took our final ride from Dawson City, Yukon to Tok, Alaska. And I made a decision on that day because when you have a group of people with 60 snowmobilers, you have probably 4 different levels of riders. Some like to go a certain speed a little bit faster than the others, some a little slower than that. So I asked the group to stay together as one group in our respective groups and teams until we stopped at a given destination on the top of the World Highway for a mountaintop memorial.
2 riders went back, they wouldn't talk to me. What do we do?
No, they didn't say anything to anybody, eh?
This doesn't surprise me. Take them ahead, Billy.
Okay. Let's do it.
I tried to stop them.
What a feeling of accomplishment we were all starting to have. Everyone reunited and snowmobiling the final leg of the journey over top of the World Highway back into the United States and ending our trek in Tok, Alaska. The day looked like it was going to be excellent for riding, but Mother Nature had her surprises for us, and nothing is as easy as it might seem.
I'm feeling great after a couple of days ago stuck in the bush for almost all night, but this is beautiful scenery here. Never seen anything like it.
Pretty awesome. Can't get any better.
Yeah, it's wonderful, beautiful. It's just spectacular.
Sun's shining, see where we're going, it's awesome.
It's just gorgeous up there. The view behind me is just, gosh, it just doesn't get much better. It's time to be here, you know. Things, kind of miss my wife and family and the dog and stuff, you know.
So everybody knows how the memorial idea came about. I meet twice a month with veterans that have problems, and we try to help them with their problems. And one of those veterans became a good friend of mine, and he was in Vietnam at the same time that I was in the Marine Corps in the same outfit. And one of his best friends threw his body on a landmine to save him and others, and he was just awarded the Medal of Honor. Lance Corporal Wheat died August 2, 1967, while serving with Company K, 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines, 1st MAR Division, in the vicinity of Dien Ben District in Quang Nam Province. He and 2 other Marines have been assigned the mission of providing security for a Navy construction battalion crane and crew operating along Liberty Road. After the Marines had set up security positions near the work site, Wheat moved to the rear of the area to check for possible presence of the enemy. As he returned, he unintentionally triggered a well-concealed mine. According to the citation, Wheat shouted a warning to his comrades, hurled himself upon the mine, absorbing the tremendous impact of the explosion with his own body. The citation continues the inspirational personal heroism and extraordinary valor of his unselfish actions saved his fellow Marines from certain injury and possible death. As Vietnam veterans, we have a saying that we all gave some, and Lance Corporal Wheat gave his all for his country. And with that said, we will pay tribute to him. Chad and Hut, salute. Present, salute. At ease. We thank you very much for being with us here today to
to share this honor that we wish to bestow on Lance Corporal Wheat and his family in a quick prayer. Dear Lord, may Corporal Wheat and all the other fallen veterans of our great country rest in honor in your kingdom and in peace forever. Amen. But when the memorial was over with, I decided to let the people break up into separate groups, people that wanted to go a little bit faster, to go ahead and go a little bit faster. And they liked that idea. So one of the groups took off first, then the second group, and we were pretty much in about 3 or 4 groups. And then we came to a fork in the road. And some of the people were sitting there saying, well, we think we should go to the right. 3 or 4 people decided to go with me. Now when we got up the side of this mountain, the angle that it was at, side heeling as we call it, wasn't that great, but the farther we went, it became more and more intense. So you really had to apply your riding skills. I thought I was applying my best riding skills, and all of a sudden I was on my back looking up at the sky because I was had an American flag and a Canadian flag on the back of my machine, and at the precise moment that it rolled over, a tremendous gust of wind hit me, and it hit those flags, and the flags is what actually upturned the snowmobile. I scurried out from under it, and I looked back at the sled. The American and the Canadian flags that I had mounted on the back of the sled with 3-foot poles stuck in the ground prevented that snowmobile from rolling over the top of me and all the way down into that ravine.
If you weren't getting up, you could turn the whole front around, wouldn't you?
Probably.
Oh, well, here we go again.
My sled's way up there.
So much for side heeling.
Yukon Highway number 9 began as a pack trail out of Dawson City shortly after the gold rush. It serviced 60 Mile and neighboring Gold Creeks. The trail was gradually improved and came to be known as Ridge Road. In the 1930s, the road was extended to the border and from there to Jack Wade and Chicken, connecting these Alaskan communities to Dawson City in Canada. In the late 1940s, Alaska's Taylor Highway gave all these communities road access to the outside world by way of the newly completed Alaska Highway. Looking into Alaska from the Yukon, it seems weird to be right next to my home country and be thousands of miles from home. In this icy wonderland, these mountain peaks may not be the most jagged formations that I've seen in my lifetime, but their majesty comes from the sheer number and that they appear to go on forever. A quick trip through customs and we're in America heading towards Tok, Alaska.
But this is good. This is beautiful. I have never seen such beautiful scenery and been able to be right here before. Gorgeous.
Then we had one more little mishap. A guy tried to stop too fast, and he rolled his machine over. But he got up, he brushed himself off. The machine had a few dings in it. He limped around a little bit, no broken bones, no cuts, so, a little bit bruised up.
I'm okay, Dad.
You want your helmet off, Dave?
Yeah, just walking aspirin. No, all right. How about you? What's the matter? In the arm?
Yeah.
When you take a deep breath, does it hurt?
No, it's fine. I'm good.
I know you don't like all the attention, but would you just sit for a few minutes for me?
I'm all right.
Of course, his ego and my ego got a little bit bruised, but everybody else had a real good time with it. They laughed, they loved it. So yeah, it was pretty exciting, that part of the ride, going through the mountain pass.
Watch out.
Here is the gold mining tourist community of Chicken, Alaska, a true American outpost without plumbing or full-time electricity. This community is shut down during the long winter and had to be specially opened from the American side for MichCanSka to get gas, food, and truck out our victims of the treacherous top-of-the-world highway.
In 2001, the wife and I and another couple made a land cruise tour of Alaska, and we went to Dawson City, and it was in a tour bus, and we went over that highway in the summertime, and it was very beautiful to see. There was still snow on top of the mountains, of course no snow on the ground. It was in June, but to see it in the wintertime was a whole different thing.
Well, some of the things that we encountered were incredible. I would say the first 3/4 of the ride was pretty much non-eventful and really beautiful scenery. Then we hit a windstorm that was incredible. It was hurricane force winds that came down the mountainside, and they blew so hard, we estimate 80 to 90 miles an hour, because it blew one snowmobiler right off her machine. And the person that was riding in front of me, I'm not going to mention his name because he's over 300 pounds, I watched his sled get blown sideways 5 foot 3 different times. We had to ride our snowmobiles like you would a boat in a raging storm and quarter into the waves to beat ourselves through that path of that wind that was coming over the top of that mountain.
The big winds on top of the World Highway, I was bringing up the rear with Don Lipinski. We both riding cleanup, and Snickers was ahead of me, and he's on a Yamaha Venture GT, which probably is 600 pounds, and Snickers himself is probably 350 pounds. And to watch that man on bare pavement being blown right off the road into the ditch was amazing.
The winds were very strong. I don't know mile per hour what they were, but you never, you had to watch the trail and watch the snow blowing up ahead of you, and you could tell how much wind you were going to run into. At one point, we came off of the leeward side where there was no wind and came around a corner, and the rider that I was following, he went around the corner and I was right behind him, and it blew both of us right off the road, right off the trail, because there was no snow on the road at that point, and blew us right out into the weeds. Luckily, we were able to ride right out of it, but I understand from the groups that were ahead of us, some of them were blown into those same weeds or parts of it along there, and they had to actually get out their axes or saws and cut their ways out of it and then get towed out.
End of the top of the world highway, which actually is a Taylor highway when you get into Alaska, a group of several riders went ahead and they started a fire, and the thing was they were going to have a fire waiting for us, and we were all going to group up and we're going to make the final ride in to Tok as a group so that we weren't all staggered out and, you know, just straggling in. And I thought that was a very good idea, that we all should ride in together.
When we got about 10 miles outside of Tok, I had asked everybody to stop and wait for the whole group. And the whole time I was riding, I thought, those guys are not going to wait for you. But lo and behold, we came over a hill, and there they all were. They had a tremendous bonfire going, and they're all waving and yelling to me, go to the front, this is your baby. And they flagged me to the front. We took a break and we patted each other on the back and shook hands and enjoyed the fire.
We coming around the corner there, and as we come around, there was a bare spot in the cement, in the tarmac, and a gust of wind took Sandy and I both right across there, just like we were on ice. And the wind, just like we had a sail on our snowmobile, took us right across it into the pucker brush. And I got stopped before I got in too far, but Sandy's sled got up pretty good in the air before it stopped.
Well, they're going to have to enjoy the fire for a few minutes.
The fire looks warm.
Get that one over there!
No, we got blown sideways. We didn't get blown off.
I heard some people got blown off real bad.
Yeah.
Right in the bushes. Yeah, right in the bushes, that's what I heard.
Won't be long now. We'll be in Tok, Alaska. After planning for 2.5 years, the day has finally arrived. And there's a bunch of smiling faces around here today. Todd, how you doing, man? Good. We're there, baby. Yeah. And what a beautiful day to arrive on. Yeah. Sunny skies, hardly no wind at all, just enough to blow you off the sled.
Get the camera going first.
Our video Mike is with his hot dog he's supposed to have with him.
I'm right here.
That's the biggest hot dog you're going to find right there. 1:30 in the morning, he said he was carrying hot dogs with him.
Well, I came down this nice hill in an 80-mile-an-hour crosswind, and when I hit the blacktop, it sucked me into the bushes.
Hey, ready?
Got it. Go. End of story.
All right. Yay! Okay, now you guys do it.
Thank you.
I guess we gotta get out of the way. There's a truck coming.
And then I said, it's time to mount up. We had our Canadian guide take off, and I rode right behind him. And then we all rode tall in the saddle all the way into Tok, Alaska. We were so proud when we got into where we were going to spend the night.
I loved every minute of it. To come home and tell my family and friends about it, I think they were very proud of what I did. I know I am. I don't know as I'd do it again, but I would like to do something like it again.
On February 15th, the first group of 72 total riders left Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. 22 days later, on March 8th, 2010, 52 MichCanSka snowmobilers arrived in Tok, Alaska.
Just about to arrive at Tok, Alaska after 21 days. Some of it very grueling, some of it very pleasant like we had today on the top of the world highway. But there's smiles on everybody's face right now for a job well done and for a long trip in the planning and in the running. So here we are, Tok, Alaska.
Other than the highway, like that'll be the one the guy's gonna watch.
I'm Joe McIntyre, and I'm the guide from Dawson City to Tok to kind of
keep everybody on track and make sure everybody makes it, and it's been an honor for me to do so.
The financial impact, first and foremost, I would say that just out of pocket, each rider spent about $4,000. And that really just counts for your food and your lodging, pretty much. That doesn't count for the cost of new snowmobiles, trailers. Some people bought new vehicles. Some people rode their sleds to Alaska and flew home. So there were a lot of other costs involved. We had to buy special insurance. We had to make sure that we had insurance where if we had a bad accident, we would be evacuated. And all these costs really added up.
Everybody knows to stop here, right?
Yep.
Yep.
They know.
I'll tell you what,
all right,
you go ahead and move forward. I hope that thing is long.
We did a study to see roughly how much money we spent both in the U.S. and Canadian economies. And it was astonishing for a 21-day trip, but we came up with a dollar amount, a conservative dollar amount of $1.1 million was stimulated both economies of two great nations. And that's in a time when we're really struggling with our economic situation in America and in Canada. And these people felt so strongly about this ride, they reached outside of themselves and said, I'm going to make the commitment, I'm going to make the financial commitment. And they put it together on their own. No one had financial sponsors or backers, they all did it on their own. So to say that a group of people who are on fixed incomes were able to do that and raise $1.1 million for both economies, I think it's a phenomenal figure in this time and day to generate those kind of monies in some economies that are really struggling. Not only did we make a big impact as far as the dollar amount goes and spending money in the two economies, but if you think about where and how the money was spent, the people that owned the restaurant, their business was thriving, the waitresses and waiters were getting paid good money, the poor guy that was pumping the gas made extra money. So it got down to the grassroots of every single small community that we went to. We were generating revenues, tax base for those people to help them and help generate better businesses for them. And we did all this. You might call what we did a stimulus program that didn't cost the taxpayers a dime. In fact, it promoted the taxpayers by the money we spent in each little town that we visited, on meals, on lodging, when we needed repairs on our snowmobiles, when we needed a new helmet, shield, whatever the case might be. The money did trickle down right down to the grassroots people in the small towns. And that made us feel pretty good too. And they realized it, and they treated us like kings and queens every place we went. They went out of their way to help us with the newspapers that did stories and articles about the MichCanSka trip, and we couldn't say enough kind things about those people, and we were glad that we helped make their life a little bit better when we went through their town.
Somebody once told me that when it comes to foundations and organizations that raise money, the volunteers that undertake projects are the backbone of any agency. And I think it goes beyond that. I think they're also the heart and soul.
And that evening we had a really great banquet with the president from the Chamber of Commerce, the president from the Snowmobile Club. They gave us a key to the city, proclamations, and also a very nice plaque for our Snowmobile Club.
Good salad. I haven't had anything good for about what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks now?
It's been going on for 42 years. It's a 500-mile race. They have an oval track as they travel through parts of Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, British Columbia, Yukon Territory, and Alaska as part of their effort to raise awareness.
It's nice to look back and think that as you got into this trip and as you begin to go through this trip and the ups and downs, you begin to understand what the trip is more about. And it developed his own personality, it developed his own sense of value. And that was the fact that it started out as a great snowmobile trip. And it was. And as we were going, it still was, but as we went through the various different towns, as people donated money, they'd come up to you, grab you, give you money. Sometimes it was maybe most of the money they had in their pocket, 20 bucks or a buck or $1.50. But then in your mind, you begin to think, myself as an individual, that's not as important as a snowmobile ride, and the snowmobile ride is not as important as the cause, and the cause was diabetes research. And as we got a little bit farther into the trip, I personally, along with many other people, began to realize this whole thing is bigger than us.